What should I do next? Maybe I'll just go drive for a while. It's kind of a nice day. This is a swank car. Fuck it. Hello, this is Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com, and today we're doing our shaky cam interior review in a 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. This is the plug-in hybrid version. The plug-in hybrid is new for this year, I believe. It came out late last year as a 2017 model. The Pacifica itself is new as of last year and is an all-new minivan. So we've had the Chrysler Pacifica 2 or 3 times now, mostly in the gasoline version. This is the first time I've had the plug-in hybrid. This is a great van. It's easily the best minivan on the market right now. There are several reasons for that. But what I want to talk about is the interior here, and specifically some of the things that are on the plug-in version that are not on the regular gas version, as well as some of the things you'll find on the more advanced infotainment that's in this year's Pacifica. So, starting over here, doors, windows, mirrors right here. Pretty straightforward, nothing really special to show you there. I will point out that the mirrors are a very good size for this vehicle. Over here you have your headlights and dimmers and whatnot. Again, pretty straightforward. Here's the first of the vents. Looking at the steering wheel, this is a typical Chrysler Dodge steering here. So you have controls here that control what's going on the driver information screen. You have your telematics down here and your voice recognition control there. So you can hit that, tell it what you want. Most likely it will know what you're talking about and do it. Over here you have your cruise settings. You have 2 different cruise options. So this is the standard cruise. It just turns on regular everyday cruise control. This one down here turns on the adaptive cruise. That allows you to use these to set distance from the car in front of you. Otherwise, the cruise control works the same, so it will pace a vehicle in front of you until they get out of the way or you move around them. Over here, you have your washer, wipers, and so forth. This runs the rear here. This runs the front wipers here, and you pull and you push to run the squirters. Over here you have the rest of the lighting controls, turn signals and high beams. Now in the center stack, here's the first of the big differences between the standard gasoline and the plug-in hybrid option. There's a little bit of glare or something off the screen over here. It's because the bezels are a little bit rounded and the screen is convex, so it tends to reflect, at least on a camera. So over here, rather than a speedometer or a tachometer, you have a power usage meter. Pretty nice because it is useful. It's in a car with an automatic transmission and no option for shifting, you really don't need a tachometer. What's it going to tell you, right? So over here you have how much power you're using, how much power you're gaining. So when you're braking or coasting to a stop, that sort of thing, what's the regenerative system doing? Up here is the amount of power you're using as you accelerate and so forth. You see a few symbols across here. This has lane departure warnings and things like that as an option, so there you go. Down here is a meter similar to that, but this is specifically for the electric system. This right here is for everything. This right here is electric only. So this is literally showing you what your battery is doing. Then you have the multi-information screen. I've been leaving it on this to watch fuel economy usage because of, in different driving situations. And as you can see, for this entire time that I've had this, I've averaged about a little over 32 miles a gallon in a minivan of this size. And given that most of my driving was depleting the battery entirely and continuing to drive, that's pretty good. A regular person who lives closer to a city or in an area where they are driving at lower speeds more often, or not driving on the freeway for over 40 miles a shot, will definitely see much higher numbers than that. So when I had this fully charged and was in the city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, I was not having to travel on the freeway for very long distances. Instead, it was 5 and 8 miles at most, and the rest of the time driving around town. At those points, this number right here was more than double that. So that will give you an idea. I think for most people, most average drivers, I think you can expect to get 60 or more miles per gallon out of this if you were charging it regularly. So there are some other options on that screen. Here's the hybrid information, which is a little more kind of in-depth and longer term. Over here you have what's going on. So you can see I have a fully charged battery, 38 mile range. I have 187 miles of range out of the gasoline, which is a roughly half a tank. And that gives me a total of 225 miles. I will tell you that the 38 miles of battery range is basically sub 50 mile an hour range. If you're going faster than that, your battery range is probably going to deplete a little faster. But usually if you go above somewhere in the 45 or 50, I don't know the exact number, area, then in terms of speed, then the engine does kick on. Also, if you're running air conditioning and so forth, engine also obviously kicks on. So there's the hybrid info screen. You can look at trip information. So here you can see what I did. I managed to do a full 107 miles on battery only. I did 206 miles of gas driving for a total of 313 miles, averaging 32.9 miles per gallon at not quite 11 hours of use. So that's pretty good. Let's see, I went the wrong way. Jumping forward, here's the audio info. Here's messages if you sync your phone and want to use all of that. Here's where you can do some setup stuff. Speed warning, speedometer. This is kind of nice too. A lot of people like this rather than have the little one across the top that you saw before. So if I page back really quick, you'll see the little speedometer pops up there. You can use this one instead, which is much bigger and easier to see, given that you have no speed gauge. Over here is fuel. It is not speed. There is no speed gauge in this vehicle. So there you go. And over here, just quickly, that is your range with the both gas and electric. So the big number in the middle is both combined. The top one is on battery power. The bottom one is on gas only. That's most of what you need to know off the vehicle information screens. Here's maintenance stuff, things like that. And that's about it for the instrument cluster, but very useful. It's worth the trouble to page through these and fiddle around with and see what you can get out of that screen and find what you think is most useful for you. Now, this is a Chrysler vehicle with their 9-speed transmission, so it's going to have the turnstile instead of a shifter, which opens this up. Great option here. This is standard, but it's a great idea here. You can throw your purse, your briefcase, your stuff right here. Also, you have these this extra storage in here, which makes up for the fact there is no storage here. This is open down the middle, so that means you can shove things underneath it. So if you want to hide your purse in there, whatever. And then on the back side of it, opens up to add some drink holders. Over in the top of these, this right here is removable. It takes a minute to get it out. With one hand, it's a little more difficult than it should be. But anyway, you can pull this out and clean it really easily, put it right back. Same with those down there and down there. Extra plugs down here is part of the advanced infotainment. Normally, you would have a 12 volt down there, and that's it. But when you upgrade the technology package, you get that. This one is always here, so is this, standard with the stereo. This is kind of a phone cubby, or just general storage. Down here, this has the rear seat entertainment option. So it has the dual screens back there. This is the DVD player for those. Looking at right here, this is the infotainment screen. Chrysler's UConnect is definitely awesome. It is easily the best on the market, or at least in the top 2 if there is another contender. I would say that there might be. We're getting pretty close, but as of now, I'm still going to say UConnect is the best you can get. This is really cool. This is the app screen right here, so you can see what kind of apps are available and what you can take care of. So most of the time, you're probably going to be on this radio screen here, or you're going to be on the your music or the climate controls. When you hit this, it really quickly brings up seat venting, because there is no hard option here for turning on heaters and coolers on the seats. But if you just click that, there they are. Also, this is where you get your camera. Another thing that you do not have is the option of just hitting a button to see your camera. So there's that. Also, you have your phone over there, and most of this is pretty straightforward. It's very easy to learn this system. Yeah, I don't think I need to say anything more about it. Over here, you have audio controls here and here, so tuning and volume. Here's your Duke's lights. This turns that screen off, so you can just bing, no more screen. Great for the nighttime and stuff. This is a hard back button to back out of things up there. Over here, you have self-parking. So you push this, that turns on the search mode to look for a parking spot, and then when it finds one, it will guide you into it. It does everything but so it steers for you. You do the pedals. Over here is parking radar. Over here is the lane. I keep wanting to say lane keeping, but it's lane departure. And over here is your traction control. Down here, climate stuff. So quick settings are here. Pretty straightforward. I don't think there's anything to show you with that, but I will show you on the standard climate controls. When you click there, I'm going to turn it on really quick. It's going to make a little bit of noise blowing into the camera, but here you have the front 2, so you can use this to hard set, right? So here's where you do your temperatures for left and right. Also, you can control the rear climate here, and there is a control pad in the back for the rear climate on the right hand side, second row passenger seat. It's above that. So that's kind of how that works. That'll give you an idea of that's all of this. So just looking around, the interior is very nice. This blue stitching is part of the plug-in hybrid package. Shows off the PHEV. Blue is kind of the green color, I guess you would say. Haha. And just quickly looking at the second and third rows there. Very spacious, very well done. One thing with the plug-in hybrid is the batteries are down here, so you lose that compartment where these would normally fold down in. So your option with these is to fold them flat up against here, or remove them entirely, which you can do with that strap. You can probably barely see it right there. So very nicely done. I really like this. There are under-seat vents and a lot of other things to just keep this thing feeling really good. Tons of cargo. This has the panoramic glass roof. It has the doors are automatic, so you can push a button from up here. You can go and run handles, whatever you need to do to open and close both the 2 sliding doors on the sides as well as the rear hatch. Just a very well done minivan. And the plug-in hybrid is just really awesome. So that's about all I've got. So for AaronOnAutos.com, this has been Aaron, and I'll talk to you again soon.